Welcome to Mr. Boogeyman, where every story is a journey into the unknown. If you enjoy the thrill of the eerie and unexplained, consider subscribing for more chilling tales. The asylum's crumbling facade revealed the remnants of a once thriving institution where echoes of tortured souls seemed to linger in the air. The weathered stone walls, stained with years of neglect, were riddled with jagged cracks, as if bearing the scars of countless forgotten cries for help. Inside, the dim hallways were filled with rusted gurneys and shattered glass, remnants of past treatments that would today be deemed inhumane. Disturbingly, records revealed that many patients were subjected to experimental procedures such as lobotomies and electric shock therapy, often without consent. The whispers of tragic stories, like that of a young girl who vanished within its walls and was never found, only added to the suffocating atmosphere. Emily adjusted her camera strap as the group gathered outside the iron gates of Ashcroft Asylum. The once magnificent building loomed in the distance, suffocated by overgrown vines and shadows of its own making. The legends surrounding the asylum had become a local ghost story, whispered among those brave enough to venture near. But to Emily, it was an opportunity, a chance to capture the haunting beauty of forgotten places. Emily, the passionate photographer leading the expedition, was always drawn to the eerie allure of abandoned places. Her keen eye for detail unsettling notion that something was watching him.
"Just the wind,"
he said, forcing a casual tone to mask his rising anxiety. He glanced at Emily, Sarah, and Mike, who were engrossed in their own experiences, and made a conscious effort to keep his fears bottled up. Suddenly the temperature plummeted. The lights on Mike's equipment flared, and in that brief illumination, they saw them. Figures, shadowy and indistinct, watching from the corners. A cacophony of voices filled the room, cries of anguish and anger that drowned out their thoughts.
"Run!"
Emily shouted, grabbing Sarah's arm as they bolted from the room. The asylum's corridors twisted and turned, a labyrinth designed to confuse and trap. Panic spread like wildfire, each shadow a potential threat, each echo a ghostly warning. Sarah, driven by obsession, pulled away from the group.
"I have to know, I have to understand."
"Sarah, no!"
Alex called out, but she was already gone, disappearing into the dark. As the chilling sounds of the asylum enveloped them, Emily, Mike, and Alex sprinted through the twisting hallways, desperate to break free from the oppressive presence that weighed heavily on their hearts. The trio weaved through the claustrophobic passages, their breath quickening with each heartbeat. The dim light from their flashlights flickered ominously, casting long shadows that danced on the walls, further heightening their sense of foreboding. Reaching a staircase that spiraled down into darkness, Emily halted, gesturing for the others to follow her lead.
"We need to get to the basement. It might provide a way out,"
she said, scanning the area for any signs of the entity that had pursued them. Mike, ever the practical one, nodded in agreement and directed his camera towards the staircase, hoping to capture something that could explain their harrowing experience. Just as they began their descent, a loud crash echoed from behind them. Alex turned, instinctively aware that something was off.
"Where's Sarah?"
he shouted, panic creeping into his voice. Gazes or into the some pleading for recognition, revenge, or perhaps just as they thought In reach, the ground beneath them shook. Hollow and vacant. Scrambling to his feet, but she raised her hand. Curled protectively around her.
They're not going to let you go,
She hissed, her expression shifting between sadness and something more sinister. Behind her, the apparitions of the asylum surged, manifesting into grotesque figures that seemed to draw strength from her newfound connection to their dark forces. As icy tendrils reached for them from the shadows, the trio exchanged frantic looks, knowing they had to push through.
It's Sarah. We can save her.
Emily pleaded, stepping forward, but the malevolence in Sarah's gaze held her back. With a focused breath and a determination they didn't know they possessed, Mike shouted,
"We're not leaving you behind."
In that moment, they witnessed the struggle within Sarah, a battle between the girl they knew and the darkness suffocating her. Just as the shadows threatened to engulf them all, Emily lunged, desperately grasping Sarah's arm.
Fight it, Sarah. Remember us.
For a fleeting moment, clarity flickered in her eyes, but it was quickly swallowed by the shadowy forces tugging at her soul. The cacophony of anguished cries surrounded them as the spirits of the asylum roared in fury, their cries merging with Sarah's. With a final piercing scream, the shadows recoiled for an instant, allowing Emily, Mike, and Alex the chance to pull Sarah back toward the hospital's exit, her body still caught in a wrestling match between light and dark. With every ounce of strength, they broke free, the trio bolting through the gate carrying Sarah as disembodied wails echoed behind them. The night air felt like salvation as they crossed the threshold, leaving behind Ashcroft Asylum's twisted grip. Sarah lay on the ground, her breath shallow and uneven, the residual shadows clinging to her like mist. Her once vibrant eyes were now dulled, reflecting the torment she had endured within the asylum's grasp. Emily cradled her head, brushing the hair from her face, and was relieved to see the faintest hint of recognition flicker in Sarah's gaze. As dawn broke, the first rays of sunlight pierced through the remnants of the night, casting a warm glow on the trio huddled together in the cool grass outside Ashcroft Asylum. The weight of their harrowing experience settled heavily in the silence, each member grappling with the trauma they had endured. Emily gently held Sarah, still visibly shaken and lost in the aftermath of her encounter with the shadows. Mike and Alex exchanged worried glances, the fear of what they had witnessed etched into their minds. Despite their escape, the haunting memories of the asylum lingered, the spirits and echoes of sorrow remained a part of them, a constant reminder of the lives they had seen, entwined with their own. They knew that the bond created through this shared trauma would shape their futures, but the uncertainty loomed over them like a dark cloud. Would they ever truly escape the legacy of Ashcroft? As Emily felt Sarah's hand squeeze slightly in reassurance, she resolved to remain steadfast. They had faced the darkness together, and perhaps with time and healing, they could also face the light.